If you are building a battery powered embedded device, current measurement is very important for you. You can only optimize the power consumption of your circuit if you have the right current or power measurement tool. NanoRanger is one such tool. It is designed and manufactured by Autonovus Limited, a UK based company. This meter can measure from 1 nanoampere to 800 milliampere and has a crazy low resolution of 20 picoampere. This is simply wow. That's why when I came to know about this tool, I decided that I will do a review and share it with everyone. So in this video, I will tell you how I got to know about this meter. I will show you what all comes in the package, its features, how to configure. I will also test 3 different power supplies using this meter. These power supplies have very low IQ, so it will be very interesting to see how accurately meter captures the current consumption. Then for higher current, I will put the meter on DC load along with my Uon's power supply, which already has an inbuilt meter so that we can compare the readings. Nanometer comes with an isolated USB interface, so I will show you how to connect to a PC and use it. And at the last, which is the most interesting for all engineers, what is on the PCB. Quite a lot of interesting things to share, so watch this video till last. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe. I am also running a monthly embedded board giveaway, and the next one is coming mid of November. So hit the notification bell so that you get to know when the giveaway starts. A couple of months back, I wrote an article where I shared details about various power profiler tools available in the market, which are very useful for engineers who are building battery powered products. When I shared that article on LinkedIn, John Legg from the Debug store contacted me and pointed me to the NanoRanger. When I went through the details, I got very excited and I asked him if he can send me one unit for a review. He kindly accepted my request, and that's how I got the NanoRanger. Autonovus is the manufacturer of the meter and the Debug store is the distributor. Do visit the debugstore.com. They sell a lot of interesting embedded development tools and test equipments. Now let us see what we get when we order the unit. Meter comes in a nice carton package. Once you open, you see a TEF test case. This is not provided by the manufacturer, but the Debug store has added it to provide extra safety to the equipment. This is a nice value add. When you open the TEF test case, you get the manual. It gives details of what is there on the front panel, what all information is displayed on the screen, how to configure, do's and don'ts, and compliance information. Then the NanoRanger instrument itself. It is powered by 2 AA cells, so you need to buy and put it. They don't come with the package. A micro USB cable to connect it to the PC, and a power cable with banana jack on one side and crocodile clips on the other for easy and quick connection with the device under test. Enough of talking, now let me show you the instrument. It's quite compact. It's about 145 mm cross 90 mm. These are the terminals in order to connect to device under test. So this is your positive terminal, negative terminal. You have a graphic display, 128 cross 64, and you have 3 buttons. One is for power on, power off, entering into the menu, and enter. On the back side, nothing is there other than this label and compartment for your cell. While powering up, it shows product model number, serial number, calibration date, and calibration status. So you can see this is how screen comes. Right now it is in measure mode, so it is trying to measure. Nothing is connected, so it is just picking up some noise, and you can see it is picking up noise in picoampere range. So let me quickly explain you what all information is displayed. So on the top you can see 11 digit main reading, 3 digit for milliampere, 3 digit for microampere, next 3 digits for nanoampere, and 2 digit for picoampere. So right now it is in nanoampere to picoampere range. That is why you see this bar, and this bar is moving up and down to show that new sample is getting displayed on the screen. This is the average reading over this period of time. This is signal to noise ratio, and this is calculated from the maximum value and the minimum value. It also captures the maximum reading and minimum reading over time. So for example, if you are running this for a minute and you want to see what was the maximum and what was the minimum sample value you got during that 1 minute of measurement, you will be able to see with the help of MX and MN. And SH and S1 is nothing but for the current reading, what is the highest sample value and lowest sample value. So this all information is displayed on the screen. This meter updates 3 times per second, although internal sampling rate is quite high. With latest firmware, you can capture 150 samples per second. Thanks to the low power consumption of the meter itself, you can expect around 150 hours of operation with new 2 AA cells. Now let us see what all configuration options are there and how we can configure them. So in order to enter the menu, we have to press menu button. So range max is there, range minimum is there, power down is there, LCD light, whether we want to make this green backlight on or off, we can do that, detail about the product, and then get back to the measurement screen. So let us start with range max. So with the help of this, you can define what is your maximum measurement range. So it starts from 800 milliampere, next is 200 milliampere, 20 milliampere, 2 milliampere, 200 microampere, 20 microampere, 2 microampere, 200 nanoampere, 20 nanoampere. So you can set whatever is your maximum range. Similarly, you can set range minimum. So 20 nanoampere, 200 nanoampere, 2 microampere, 20 microampere. So this is the minimum range. So let us set this to 20 nanoampere. Next is power down. So this is basically the setting for powering down this device. So if for 30 minutes it will be powered, and after 30 minutes it will be powered down if there is no activity on the keys. So you can change that. So 30 minute, 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour, 8 hour. You can even make this off, so it will be always on. We will keep it on 30 minutes. Next is LCD light. This is basically your backlight. So if you want to make it off to save power and you are okay without backlight, you can configure it like this. Otherwise you can keep it on. Next is details. If you enter inside, you will be able to see product model number and version, serial number, calibration date, and calibration data status. So all are tick means everything is okay. Press menu again. In order to go back, it will go to the measure state, and if you press enter, it will go back to the main screen. In order to power off, you just need to press this button, and now it is in power off mode. It will take 3 seconds to power off. Now let me quickly set up for testing 3 power supplies, and I will show you how it works. So these are the 3 power supplies we are going to test. This is TPS 563201. It has IQ of roughly around 500 microampere. This one is TPS 6280, 60 nanoampere IQ. And this one is basically your LDO. These two are DC-DC converters. This one is LDO. And this is TPS 78223, and it has IQ of 500 nanoampere. So this is the setup. I have a Uvan's power supply as a source, Nano Ranger for current measurement. This is our power supply, which is device under test. So, and the connection will be positive terminal of power supply will go to Nano Ranger's positive terminal, and negative terminal from Nano Ranger will go to the positive terminal of device under test, and negative terminal of power source will connect to device under test directly. So that's the connection you can see on the screen. So I have connected the power supply. Now let us see what is the output voltage. Right now it is configured for 1.5 volt output, and input we are giving 5 volt. So we will make it on, and we will measure the voltage. You can see output voltage is 1.512. It's fluctuating a little bit. 1.5 volt. So if you want to restart, you can press enter while it is running, so it will restart the reading. So you can see it is fluctuating because it is in no load condition. Little bit noise will be there on the output of the DC-DC converter, but you can clearly see average is roughly around 56 nanoampere. As per the datasheet of TPS 62840, it claims 60 nanoampere no load current, and you can see here around 55.8, roughly 56 nanoampere. Now let me connect another power supply and I'll show you. So this is our second power supply, TPS 563201. We are giving 5 volt input. Output voltage is set for 3.3 volt, and no load current is roughly 500 microampere. So let us power on and see. So I think our measurement range is not set for 500 microampere. Yeah, so range is 20 microampere. So we need to change that to higher range. Let's say 2 milliampere, and then go back to measure, reset. Now you can see readings are proper. So it is around 430, 433, 35 microampere, and you can see the average reading 433.0, 433.2 microampere. This is the maximum reading, 0.439 milliampere, which is 439 microampere, and minimum is 428 microampere. So this is also very close to what datasheet claims. Now let us see our third power supply, which is our LDO. So you can see I have connected the LDO TPS 678223. Its output is 2.3 volt. Input we are giving 5 volt, and datasheet claims roughly 500 nanoampere as IQ, and on the meter we are seeing 415 nanoampere. I'll press enter in order to restart our averaging. So you can see for 10 seconds average is 418 nanoampere. I am quite happy with the readings I have got on Nano Ranger for all the 3 power supplies for microampere and nanoampere range. Now let us see how it works for milliampere range. So we will test 50 milliampere, 250 milliampere and 750 milliampere. Not sure if you have seen this DC load in some of my previous videos. This is a modified DC load, and it works from 20 milliampere to 1 ampere. So I have configured for 800 milliampere range, and now let us take the readings. So right now it is only connected, I have not switched it on. Still 62.4 microampere load is there because of the DC load output. So I will make it on. So you can see on Ovon's power supply it is showing 18 milliampere. There is no decimal digit further, so we will not be able to see beyond that. On Nano Ranger you can see 18.78 milliampere. So I will press enter to refresh, and you can see now average reading 18.77 milliampere. So we'll dial in 50 milliampere. Refresh. So for 50 milliampere our DC load is setting around 47 milliampere. Uwan is saying 47 milliampere. Our Nano Ranger is saying 47.4, 47.5, which is really good. Let us dial in 250. So at 250, our DC load is setting at 238 milliampere as per Uwan, and Nano Ranger is saying 239 milliampere. Enter to refresh. So average reading for 10 seconds is 39.5 milliampere. Now let us see for 750. So for 750, Uwan's reading is 715 milliampere and Nano Ranger is saying 717 milliampere. So Nano Ranger is working really good. I'm very happy. Now let me show you how to connect to a PC and take the readings. For PC interface, we have to use this micro USB cable provided in the package, and USB connection is here. So we will connect it here. So this is isolated USB interface. It will not have any impact on our readings because of noise. So I will connect to my PC and I will use Hercules serial terminal and I will show you how it works. So for PC interface, first thing we have to do is we have to check which COM port it is connecting to. So we will go to device manager and we will check to which port it will connect. So I will plug in my USB and COM3 is the serial port we are getting. On Hercules, we need to go to serial tab, select COM3, baud rate is 57600, data size 8-bit, parity none, handshake off, mode free. We will open and we will be able to see readings coming in. It is showing 95 milliampere, which is the current I have set with the help of external DC load. Let me change it to 200 and we will see different reading. So right now it is 190.7 milliampere. By default it will keep on sending samples over USB, but if we want to configure, we can send the command and configure the device. So you have to go through the instruction manual, page number 19. You will see SCPI required commands. So this instrument is compatible with SCPI commands and these are the commands which can be used. Save, recall, power off. If we have to power off, we can send this command. And if we have to change the backlight status, we can send this command, configure :LED space 0. And if we want to know the status, we can send this command. So if we get 1, that means backlit is on. If we get 0, that means backlit is off. And these are powered on settings. This is the command we have to use in order to change range maximum, range minimum. In order to reset the readings, configure the sample, enable or disable. Let me show you with one command how we can configure the device over USB. So let us say we want to configure power down setting to 1 hour. Currently it is configured for 30 minutes, but now we want to configure it for 1 hour remotely over USB. So what we have to do is we have to send this command. So we will go to our terminal. Let us try to read what is the status. So mandatorily AND characters we have to send after each command. So I am adding CRLF. I will open. I think somewhere I have read that before starting we have to send a reset command. To enable the device to be controlled via SCPI, a star command must be rst command must be issued. So we will issue this command in order to enable this. So *rst and then crlf. So we will send. Okay, now I think it is ready. So we will read the power down status. Power down status is 2. So power down status is 2 means 1 hour. Let us configure it to 1. Send. And now again we will read. So we are able to configure it. I will power off the device and power on again. And now we will go to the menu. Power down is 30 minutes and we will read. So we will send reset command again. Read power down. It is 1 hour, and when I set it to 1, it becomes 30 minutes. So let us see if we are able to change the backlight status. This is backlight status. So we will send configure LED space 1 is backlight on, so backlight is already on, so we will set to 0 and see if backlight goes off. Yes, backlight is going off. If we send to 1, is backlight coming up? Is backlight coming up? Let us see. Send, backlight is on. Yeah, so it is very easy and we are able to control Nano Ranger over USB very easily. And now the most interesting part, what is inside this Nano Ranger, what all chips they have used, which microcontroller they are using, and how complex the construction is. So you can already see this is the PCB. So I have not gone through in detail and I have not checked datasheet of each and every device. I will do that later and maybe create another video for that, but maybe I'll give you some information. Like this is your MCU. This is Atmel ATSAML21G17. This is your microcontroller section, and this is your micro USB connector. This is your isolated USB interface, and this is your terminals. These are your shunt resistance. So basically this is your analog sensing section. It includes shunts, switch for shunts for different ranges, your high precision ADC reference voltage, which then connects to your MCU. And this is your LCD interface, and this is for the buttons. This is your debug connector for MCU and your battery terminal, and probably this will be your power supply. So I have some more pictures, a closer look at the ADC and USB section. This is your MCU section. This is your debug section and the ADC part. So I will add these high resolution pictures in a folder and I will share the link in the description below. If you are interested, you can download and go through what all ICs they have used. I hope you found this video useful. Don't forget to like the video and share with your friends. Thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video.